What was that scamp Ocelot up to in Metal Gear Solid 4? At the end of almost every Metal Gear Solid game, Ocelot pipes up on a phone call to tell us that everything we thought we knew about him was a lie, and that he had heavy ties to the secret real plot of the game. So what are his goals in MGS4, and what are his secret true goals? Heads up, this video will have spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 4. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Luffy, and welcome to my channel. I talk video games and character analysis, so if that's your thing, subscribe and stick around. If you like what I do here, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a channel member for the price of a cup of coffee per month. Support like yours helps me continue to bring these videos to you weekly. Special thanks to Zuichi6087 for suggesting this topic. Let's hop right into things. Liquid Ocelot's goals. First things first, why are we calling Ocelot Liquid Ocelot? Is he trying to metamorphosize into a snake? Maybe. All the way back in MGS1, Ocelot got his right hand chopped off by a cyborg ninja. Instead of rushing to an ER to try and get it reattached, he instead yoinks Liquid's arm. He was dead and not using it at this point, so hey, free arm. And goes to Leon to get Liquid's arms attached instead. An unfortunate side effect of stealing arms, though, is getting haunted by the arm's original owner. In MGS2, Liquid's ghost is strong enough to interrupt Ocelot's plans and possess him from time to time, but by the time MGS4 rolls around 7 years later, Liquid has complete control over Ocelot. Liquid is one of Big Boss's 3 clone sons. He hates his father, BB, and feels the best way to get revenge on him for telling him he was inferior to his brother Snavid is to achieve BB's dreams better than he ever could. BB's dream was to create Outer Heaven, a PMC so mighty that no government could force them to use them as political tools or pit them against their friends, as the US government pitted BB against his mentor, the boss. Liquid's version of Outer Heaven focused more on how they could prove themselves to be the strongest force in the world, and then use that strength to prevail over who they determined to be the weak. In MGS4, Liquid's still on about his version of Outer Heaven, and has possessed Ocelot to make his dream a reality. Also because Ocelot replaced his right arm with Liquid's right arm, really making himself ripe for the haunting. The biggest obstacle Liquid Ocelot will have to overcome to realize his dreams is the Patriots AI's SOP system. SOP controls which soldiers can fire which guns, so no matter how large Liquid Ocelot's armies get, if he threatens the balance of the world, the Patriots AIs can just pull the plug on his weapons and render his armies useless. To realize his dreams, Liquid Ocelot will have to overcome one huge obstacle: the Patriots AIs and their SOP system. Most soldiers have been hooked into SOP. SOP controls what weapons soldiers are able to use, giving the Patriots AIs a failsafe in case soldiers turn against them or fire at civilians, suppresses all the tough emotions soldiers may feel in battle, keeping them focused, and enhances their natural abilities as a soldier. So no matter how large Liquid Ocelot grows his armies, he'll always be at the mercy of the Patriots AIs. If he steps out of alignment with them, they can render his army useless. The key to hacking SOP is BB's DNA, but BB got burned alive and is gone. Liquid Ocelot doesn't give up though, and tries both Liquid and Snavid's DNA, though both experiments failed. Eventually, Liquid Ocelot is able to obtain BB's DNA from Big Mama and seizes control of SOP. Unfortunately, Liquid Ocelot's control is short-lived as Snavid, along with the help of his support team, are able to take Liquid Ocelot down. It seems his grand plans failed, but come on. It's Ocelot. Even being possessed can't stop him from being a little scamp and operating secretly in the background. Liquid Ocelot's true goals. Okay, scrap everything you just learned about Liquid Ocelot. He's not actually possessed, and his replacement arm isn't Liquid's arm, nor is it even flesh and blood. It's a prosthetic. Ocelot's not driven to achieve BB's dream better than he ever could. So what are Ocelot's true goals? Ocelot wants to revive BB. Yeah, BB was burned alive and presumed dead, but he was rescued by the Patriots at the very last second and put into a coma. You see, BB used to be on good terms with Zero and the Patriots. He used to be one of them. But he split from the Patriots when their ideologies misaligned. The Patriots didn't want BB operating against them, and BB didn't want to work with them, so it was nanomachine-induced coma time.
They had me sealed away completely. Not only my physical body, but my will too.
Luckily for BB, he had uncomaed friends who were driven to rescue him. Those friends being Ocelot and Big Mama. Ocelot and Big Mama were both involved in founding the Patriots, though neither of them had the trust of the Patriots AIs by this point in the timeline, so neither of them could just walk into where they're being kept and flip the switch off. So, Ocelot hatched a clever plan where he'd find the key to hacking the Patriots AI's SOP system, aka BB's DNA, and would seize control of SOP. Ocelot pretended to be possessed by Liquid so he could go rogue and attack the Patriots without them thinking the attack was coming from one of their own, since Ocelot was Liquid and not Ocelot.
Cats do love to play as snakes.
Ocelot was able to take control of one of the AIs, GW. Another of the AIs, JD, was the main brain of the Patriots AIs, but with JD destroyed, operations would default to GW. Not only would that help Ocelot take control of the AIs, but it also served as bait to lure Snavid and his team in. Snavid has what it takes to destroy the AIs, so he was lured in to help under the false pretense of stopping Ocelot. Ocelot wanted the Patriots AIs destroyed just as much as the rest of the cast of MGS4. Why people don't overtly work together in this series will always baffle me. First Solidus, and now this. Snavid's able to destroy the Patriots AIs, but he also destroys Ocelot in the process and makes him a ghost, like Liquid. Though Ocelot doesn't go on to haunt anyone, he's just dead. At the end of MGS4, BB meets up with Snavid in a graveyard, proving that Ocelot's plans were a success. Though BB is revived only to die 10 minutes later when he's infected with the new strain of fox dye floating around inside of Snavid. Which is so frustrating for poor Ocelot. He died for his cause of reviving BB, only for BB to turn around and die 10 minutes after his revival. Your thoughts? Every single time Ocelot pops up in Metal Gear Solid, I knew something was up, but I never knew what. I was never able to predict Ocelot's shenanigans, which was definitely a really fun part of playing through the series. I was curious to know if any of y'all were able to predict Ocelot's twist, especially MGS4's twist, where Ocelot was working to free BB from his coma all along, so we took a poll here on YouTube. It looks like the majority of y'all were feeling the way I felt, where you knew something was up, but just didn't know what. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one who's highly suspicious of Ocelot every time he's on screen. A small amount of y'all voted that you predicted the twist ending, and I'd love to hear how you were able to do that. What gave Ocelot away? Or did you figure he had to be involved with something BB related? Let me know in the comments. George Taranti2740 commented, I knew something was up when Pat Zimmerman voiced Ocelot in every scene. In MGS2, Cam Clark voices him whenever he is supposedly being possessed. I was so disappointed when Cam Clark wasn't voicing Liquid's lines in MGS4, but that also clued me in that things aren't what they seem. George went on to say, when we first meet Ocelot, everything he says sounds like something Liquid would say, but as the game goes on, his theatricality and references to events in MGS3 show he is still the same Ocelot deep down. It's almost as if we beat Liquid's personality out of him in that last fight, a fight that truly was not even necessary at that point. George makes such a great point about Liquid Ocelot saying things that wouldn't make sense for Liquid to know. I've never noticed that before, not on my first playthrough or in subsequent playthroughs. I love that there are little clues to Ocelot not being as he seems sprinkled throughout MGS4. And I agree that the ending fight wasn't necessary. Really, Ocelot should have teamed up with Snavid, just like Solidus should have teamed up with Snavid in MGS2. Ricardo Miles2957 commented, I was still fresh on the series and still wasn't keen on Kojima's fancy for endgame plot twists, and even looking back now, the only thing that I think I could have possibly picked would be the moments of concentration every time Ocelot meets Snake. It's like a subtle switch to the Liquid persona, but besides that, most of the plot felt linearly simple like MGS3 was. I'd never really thought about Liquid Ocelot's moments of concentration like that. I always figured he had a moment because Snavid was there, not necessarily because he was preparing to put on more of a Liquid persona, but now that Ricardo pointed it out, I can definitely see it. Logando the Warlock 6043 commented, honestly, I originally thought that Ocelot had inherited some form of his father, the Sorrow's, spirit medium abilities, and that was why the possession thing was going on. It honestly sucked when I found out the truth because I thought Liquid living on through Ocelot was a great thing for his character, since he was always so obsessed with fate and genetic destiny. Breaking that destiny by returning from death like that would have been a great idea to explore his beliefs on that further. I agree 100%. It really would have been such a cool thing both for Ocelot's character and for Liquid's if Liquid was actually haunting Ocelot. I'd never thought about how Liquid coming back from the grave would break his genetic destiny, and I really love that for Liquid. I so wish it'd been Liquid haunting Ocelot instead of hypnotherapy. Ocelot's secret plot in MGS4 definitely came as a surprise to me, and I couldn't believe it when BB showed up at the end to explain everything. What about you though? Did you predict MGS4's plot twist? As is true through most of Metal Gear Solid, Ocelot is up to something secretive behind the scenes of MGS4. To our faces, he's a possessed madman hungry to deliver justice to the strong by destroying the weak. But behind the scenes, He really just wants to revive someone he respects and cherishes, BB. Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's video. If you liked it, share it with someone who wants to know more about Metal Gear Solid lore. If you need more content, check out my Patreon. I upload articles I write on upcoming videos or just thought pieces on video games in general. You can also support me in the channel by becoming a channel member. Or join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.